Good morning students. In this class we'll be discussing regarding inheritance of one gene and test cross. So what do you mean by inheritance of one gene? So inheritance of one gene can be explained by monohybrid cross. So the cross between the two parents which are going to differ in one pair of contrasting character is called as a monohybrid cross. So mono means single. So the hybridization of the plants where they are going to differ in only single character or a single trait is termed as a monohybrid cross. So now let us take the example of one such hybridization experiment, so which is carried out by the Gregor Mendel. So where he is going to cross the tall and the dwarf pea plants to study the inheritance of one gene. So when a homozygous tall is crossed with a homozygous dwarf plant, all the F1 progeny plants were tall. He found that the F1 always resemble either one of the parents. So he has taken the two plants here. One is homozygous tall and one is the homozygous dwarf. So here these two plants are going to differ in only one trait. So that is the stem height. So one plant is having the stem height that is tall and the other is having the dwarf. So when he is going to cross these two plants which are going to differ in only the stem height, so then he observed that all the F1 progenies were to be tall. Right? So that is they are going to resemble only either of one of the parents. There are two parents. So the F1 progeny is going to resemble only one parent. So when these F1 hybrids were self-crossed, means when the selfing was done between these two F1 hybrids or whatever the F1 hybrids they have got. So in the F2 generation, to his surprise, he found that some of the offsprings were dwarf. The character that was not seen in the F1 generation was now expressed, right? So as I had said you that when the two parents, that is one is homozygous tall and homozygous dwarf is crossed, so in the F1 generation we found that the F1 hybrids are going to resemble only one of the parents. So they are going to be all tall. So when these F1 hybrids were means when there was self-crossing or when there was a selfing in the F1 hybrids, so in the F2 generation what Gregor Mendel observed is that so some of them were going to resemble the one parent and some of them they are going to resemble the other parent. Means he observed that some plants are tall and some of them are dwarf. So the proportion of the plants that were dwarf were 1/4, that is only 25% of the plants were dwarf and the 3/4, that is 75% of the F2 plants or the F2 hybrids were tall. So the tall when the dwarf traits were identical to their parental type and did not show any blending. It means that so the dwarf plants which were observed in the F2 generation, they are going to resemble the parent, and the tall plants which were observed in the F2 generation, they are also going to resemble their parents. It means that they are not going to show any intermediate character in the stem height. So either they are going to resemble the tall parent or they are going to resemble the dwarf parent, right? So based on this observation, Mendel proposed that something was stably passed down unchanged from a parent to progeny through the gametes over successive generations. So based upon this observation, what Mendel said is that so there is certain thing which is going to be passed from generation to generation, and he called these factors, he called these things as a factors. Means according to him there are certain factors which are going to be transmitted or which are going to be transferred from one generation to another generation, and now we call them as a genes. So what do you mean by genes? Means they are the units of inheritance. So as I had said it before, so genes are nothing but the unit of inheritance, or they are a segment of a DNA, so which are going to promote the synthesis of the polypeptide chain, and thereby they are going to control a character. So from the Punnett square, so what we can see is that the phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation is that 3:1, means we are going to get 3 tall plants and 1 dwarf plant. So the ratio, the phenotypic ratio of the monohybrid cross is 3:1. In the same way, the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. That means that we are going to get 1 homozygous tall plant and 2 heterozygous tall and 1 homozygous recessive, right? So there is 1 tall, completely tall, and 2 plants which are the heterozygous tall plants and 1 homozygous dwarf plant, right? So this is regarding the monohybrid cross. So now let us see the schematic representation of this plant. Right. So here we can see the schematic representation of this monohybrid cross. So in the first there are the parental genotypes. So what are these parents means? One is the homozygous tall or the pure tall, and one is the pure dwarf, that is the homozygous dwarf plant. So what are the genotypes of the homozygous tall? Is that capital T and capital T, and that of the homozygous recessive is that small t and small t. So now what are the possible gametes that we are going to get from the homozygous tall, that is capital T, and from the homozygous recessive, that is that is small t. So when we are going to cross this homozygous tall and homozygous dwarf in the F1 generation, we are going to get all the plants that are heterozygous tall. So that is represented by capital T and small t. So now what we are going to do means, that is all the tall plants means 4:0. The ratio is 4:0, means all the 4 offsprings which are going to which we are going to get in the F1 generation with the help of a Punnett square, we can see that all are tall plants, that is heterozygous tall plants. So the ratio will be 4:0. So then when the selfing is done among these F1 hybrids, so here you can observe in the Punnett square that on one side we have written one gametes and the other side the other gamete. That is, one side of the table we have written the male gametes and other side we have written the female gametes. So when the selfing is done, we are going to get 4 plants. Out of them, the first one is homozygous tall plant, that is represented by capital T and capital T, that is a homozygous tall. So then after that we are going to get the heterozygous tall, that is represented by capital T and small t, and then again we are going to get heterozygous tall, that is capital T and small t, and then lastly we are going to get a homozygous dwarf plant or the homozygous recessive, that is small t and small t. So when we are going to see the phenotypic ratio, so as I said before, phenotype means it is an external appearance. So when we go through the external appearance, so what the ratio we are going to get, that is 3:1. That is 3 of the 4 plants are tall, that is 75% of the F2 generation or the F2 hybrids are tall, and one of them is dwarf, so that is 25% of them are the dwarf plants. So now let us see what is the genotypic ratio in the F2. So the genotypic ratio will be 1:2:1. That is, 1 is homozygous tall, 2 heterozygous tall, and 1 homozygous dwarf. So this is regarding the monohybrid cross. So after that he has also done the one more cross, that is called as a test cross. So test cross in the monohybrids. Right. So here what he is going to do means, here it is a cross made between the F1 hybrids with its double recessive parent to confirm that the F1 hybrid is homozygous or heterozygous. So after getting the F1 hybrids, instead of selfing the F1 hybrid with the F1 hybrid, here he has crossed the F1 hybrid with one of the recessive parents, that is homozygous recessive parent. So what is the necessary or what is the significance of this cross is that to know whether the plant is a homozygous or the heterozygous. So in the schematic representation you can see that the test process done between the F1 hybrid and the homozygous dwarf parent. So here the capital T and small t is crossed with the small t and small t. So what are the possible gametes in the heterozygous tall plant is that capital T and small t. In the homozygous dwarf, that is small t. So when we are going to cross this F1 hybrid with the homozygous recessive parent, so we are going to see that 50% of the plants are tall and the 50% of them are dwarf. So the phenotypic ratio is 1:1, and we can clearly say that. So the parent is, or the plant which we have taken is a heterozygous one. So now let us see what is the significance of the test cross. So it helps in knowing whether the organism is homozygous or heterozygous for a trait. Means if you have taken a plant, if we don't know whether it is a homozygous or heterozygous, so then we can easily cross with a homozygous recessive and find whether it is a homozygous or a heterozygous. So then it helps in knowing the genotype of an individual for a particular character. So with the help of this test cross, we can also find out the genotype of an individual for a particular character. The last thing is that it helps in predicting the genotype of the test organism. So these are the 3 significance of the test cross. So first thing is that it helps in knowing whether the organism is homozygous or heterozygous for a trait. Second thing is that it helps in knowing the genotype of an individual for a particular character. And the last thing is that it helps in predicting the genotype of a test organism. So this is regarding the significance of test cross. So what Mendel is going to do means, after once the monohybrid cross is done, after he is going to get after he gets the result, so based on the observation, so what are all the observations he has done after the monohybrid cross, so based on those observations of the based on his observations on the monohybrid cross, so Mendel has proposed two general rules. So today these rules are called as the principles or laws of inheritance. So based on the observation is after the completion of the monohybrid cross, so what are all the observations he has done in the monohybrid cross, so based upon that, so he has proposed the two rules. So that two rules are now called as the principles or laws of inheritance. So the first one is law of dominance. So what is this law of dominance means? The first thing is that the characters are controlled by the discrete units called factor. So as I had said you, this factors is a term given by a Geiger-Mendel for a genes. So factors are obviously they are going to occur in pair. So every gene is having alternative form of alleles. So these factors are going to be in pairs. So in a dissimilar pair of a factors, one member of the pair dominates the other. So as I had said you that in the heterozygous condition, right? Dissimilar pair means in the heterozygous condition, so the two alleles will be different. So out of these two alleles, so one allele is going to express its character and that is said to be a dominant one, and the other allele which is not able or which fails to express its character is said to be a recessive. So this is regarding the law of dominance, right? So after the monohybrid cross, he has stated two rules. One is the law of dominance. So according to law of dominance, characters are controlled by the discrete units called as a factors. So every character is controlled by a factor, that is a gene, and these genes are always occur in the pair. So when it comes to a pair, that is obviously there are two things that are present in a genes, that is nothing but the allele. So whenever these alleles are dissimilar, means whenever it is in the heterozygous condition, so out of two alleles, only one allele will be capable of expressing its character and that is said to be dominant, and the other which is not capable of expressing or which fails to express the character is said to be a recessive one, right? So now we'll see which is the second law. So the second law is law of segregation. So what is this law of segregation is going to state? So before that we'll see segregate means to separate. So according to the law of segregation, when the alleles for two contrasting trait or the two contrasting characters are brought together in the F1 generation, so without blending they separate or segregate in the F2 generation during the formation of gametes. So law of segregation is also called as a purity of gametes. So law of segregation means separation. So whenever the two alleles for two contrasting characters they are brought together in the F1 generation, means two characters, means here one is tall and one is dwarf. So though the characters or though the gametes of the tall plant and the dwarf plant are brought together in the F1 generation, but still they are not going to blend their character with each other. So out of these two alleles or after these two gametes, only one gamete or the one allele is going to express its character, right? So here they are going to separately without blending they are going to separate or segregate in the F2 generation during the formation of the gametes. So due to this, as there is a segregation of the gametes during the during the formation of the gametes, so this law is also called as a purity of gametes, right? So this is all for the today's class, and in the next class we'll be discussing regarding the incomplete dominance, codominance. Okay, thank you.